All right, problem 4, the plate. This one we're going to draw and dimension it, so we're going to be doing a little bit of both. So we're starting to get a little more in-depth problems here. Step 1 is you want to go open, and you're going to open that title block. So you're going to open the title block that I've given you. So you've been given the title block. We do not want to draw in the paper space. Remember, that's for the title block. We actually want to draw over in model space. So we're going to go to model space here and draw. A couple things I want to do first is I want to check my drawing utilities. I want to make sure that my limits and everything are set correctly. Excuse me. So you literally click on drawing utilities and drawing properties. Oh, sorry. Drawing utilities. And you can check different things like your units. You can make sure it's decimal, etc. So if you needed to change it to architectural, you could. We're going to leave it plain old decimal and plain old inches. You could change it to centimeters. So it all depends on what it is that you're trying to do. Don't ever use unitless. You could change your precision down to as much as we needed to go to. We want to be precision down to the 100ths. We're in inches. We've got decimal degrees. Okay, so everything's good here. So we've done all that. Next we're going to do is we're going to check our O-snap. Sometimes you have to escape to get out of whatever command you're in, and go ahead and select them all and turn them on. And then I want to go change it to visible layer just to get started. And then we're going to start drawing. So we're going to start by drawing an ellipse. And this is one of those times where you do not want dynamic input on, because I'm telling you the exact coordinates you want to use for the ellipse. So I'm telling you what it needs to be, and you're just going to have to draw all the rest from there. So make sure dynamic input's off. Make sure we're using the axis end. So we pick it's the axis end. And then we type in our coordinates 1, 5, enter 8.5, 5, enter, and then 4.75, 7.625, enter. And we can zoom over. You can do your zoom extents. If you don't have that, you can always go to view, zoom, and you can zoom in and zoom out, etc. here. So that's where those tools are at. And so we have our basic ellipse. Now we want to draw our center lines. Back to home. Change our layer now to center. And I'm paying attention to my snap. See, I'm looking for that snap there. So I have that. I'm gonna enter key again. Come on. And I want it to go straight up. Now notice how it's not going perfectly straight up. If I come over here and I can hit the F8 and I can toggle on and off the ortho mode, and that will force it to go perfectly straight up. So if you're struggling and you're having problems with keeping it perfectly horizontal and vertical, if you turn your ortho on, that'll help you with that. And I am just dragging it to the outside, hit the escape key so it's no longer activated. All I did was select the object, which is the line. I grabbed that little blue square at the end, which is called your node editor. And I am just dragging it so that it's on the outside of the object. All right, now the point of doing that is because I can now find my center points for my circles. So I'll go look at the drawing, and I'm going to offset per those dimensions. So I look at the drawing and I see, what does it say? Well, it says the first one's 1.5, and the next one's 0.75, and so forth. So you have to be able to read the drawing. So I'm going to offset it, type in the distance, offset, and that's all I'm going to do. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get all those points. And if it's not doing it, you have to make sure you're actually offsetting it the right way. So if you look, it'll give it to you. Okay, so I've gotten all of my lines I need to have, and I'm actually going to get rid of this outside line because I no longer need that. All right, so I'm literally following the instructions. And now I'm going to draw some circles. So now I want to go change my layer back to visible. If you forget to do it, don't freak out. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm going to show you an example. If I come to this one, and it's supposed to have a diameter of 1.13, so I make sure I'm paying attention to my. And I type in that size and hit enter. Oh Jesus, it's the wrong layer. I have to start all over again. No, you don't. If you accidentally draw on the wrong layer, it's just a matter of selecting the object and changing it to the correct layer. Okay, so don't panic if you do draw on the wrong layer. You can move into whatever layer you need them to be. All right, then we have two circles with a radius of 0.19. So you can do the C inner, etc. You can do whatever. It doesn't matter to me. You can drop down, just make sure they have that 19. Hit the enter key again to bring up the command. The last command. The enter key brings up the last command, and the enter key brings up the last size. So I didn't have to type in twice for that one. All right, we're going to draw another circle again. This time it's going to go here, and it's going to have a 1.87. And then I want to draw a diameter 1 again, or if I have a radius actually. It doesn't matter, either one works. Remember, a radius, just tap at the diameter. Just make sure that you're getting that right spot that you're supposed to. And then quite often I get the holy cannolis. How do I get those at the end, the little hot dog looking thing at the end? All it is circles, so think it through. So it's just another circle. We know that it has a diameter of 0.76. I know that, oops, dang it, escape. Enter. Should ask me for the point again. Make sure that you're getting to the right point. There it goes. No, that is not right. I love it when it does interesting things. Okay. What size are those? Oh, they're not given in the drawing. That would be just wonderful, isn't that? Well, we'll make sure it goes into ours. There. So without even knowing that measurement, I was still able to draw it simply by using the circle radius command, because I knew I could get the halfway mark. Make sure I pay attention to where my snap goes. There it goes. Oops, and I didn't pay attention that time, did I? So erase it and try again. It's all right. It's a lot easier to erase in AutoCAD than it is to try to erase by hand sometimes. There it goes. And then we're going to use our trim command. Spacebar. There it goes. There we go. And just clicking until you get rid of what we no longer want. All right, and we have a circle with a diameter at this point here of 2.25. All right, we're getting there. All right, now we're going to stretch, erase, trim, whatever you want to do. Some students like to, come here, you know what I mean by that is they like to draw a line and then go to trim, hit spacebar, and click to get rid of the point in the top. Come on. Trim, spacebar, and get spacebar. Makes you feel better. And so they trim it up so that it looks like the example given in the PowerPoint presentation, and then they erase the line. Doesn't really matter to me what method you use. We just want to move them up so they look a little more realistic, like they should here. So I can do that also by grabbing that node editor and simply stretching it. So it doesn't really matter to me what method you use. Just that we try to make it look more realistic. Now, as I pull them in, I want you to notice something, and I want you to look at kind of closely. If you look now at them, they're not exactly putting them in the best places, I guess is the way we want to say it. It's not the appropriate place that you would normally have that center line end at. And that would be why some students like to draw the lines, and they can just trim, because then they can make sure that they're drawing lined up perfectly instead of making them. But we can change a line type scale if we're concerned about a specific line type that we're using and we're afraid that it's not showing and demonstrating itself and it's not coming out right on the drawing. So if we've got some concerns for that, if we're looking at it and we realize that it looks off, it's not right, we can fix that. So I've moved, come on. Now, if we're concerned, like I said, LT scale, which stands for line type scale, when you do, you can change it to different line type scales. And notice how it changed the look of here. If it's still not correct, we can enter. I'm going to change it back to 1. It's supposed to be 0.25. So depending on the scale that you're wanting to use with, you can change it up so that it looks more realistic and more what the line type should look like. I'm just going to leave it at 1. So just so you know, you can change your line type scale if you need to. Alright, our next thing is we want to draw the polygon. So we want to draw the polygon in the middle. So I go to the rectangle tool. Or you also should be able to just type in PLY and it should pull it in. I'm going to tell a polygon tool. And the first thing it's going to ask you is how many sides should your polygon going to have? Because technically a rectangle is a polygon and has 4 sides. So we want it to have 6 sides. So I type in 6, enter. And it goes, okay, here at the bottom, specify the center or the polygon. So where's the edge? Where does it get? Well, it's going to go here in the middle. Come on, there we go. And then it's going to ask the next thing. Okay, well, what is it going to be, inscribed or circumscribed? So circumscribed means on the outside, inscribed means on the inside. So we want to tell it inscribe. And then it's going to ask you for, okay, what's the radius? And so the radius would be half the diameter, or it's going to be 0.73 with the radius of this particular one. Now it's not going the direction I want it to go to, so I simply need to rotate it now. And you grab the middle and you pull your mouse up and you click, and there you go. So we have drawn the plate. And if I click on the title block, they should be linked. And if they're not, we're going to have to link them. Alright, so I'm going to make layer, border, make that the current one. I'm going to go to layout, and I'm going to go to rectangular, and we're going to use the viewport to get it here, which is why I changed the layer to border so it matches this. And now I want to make sure it's exactly what scale it is. So I move my mouse and carefully click on this. And then I'm going to right click and go to properties, and I'm going to look for the scale, because right now the custom scale is a 1.21. We want a 1. We want a plain 1-to-1 scale. And then I can exit out of this. I get the escape key to get out, and now it's perfectly centered. Alright, the next one I'm going to show you how